Hello, everybody. This is Fred, the Submarine Guy, coming to you on behalf of thesubmarineguy.com. Tonight, we're going to talk about 10 or more tips to get it right, to get more prospects to buy your stuff. We're going to make you a lead capture expert here. I think I've got about 30 minutes of information here, depending on how excited I get about this. You know, the more I got into this and making these slides and things for you tonight, the more I realized how much I've gone through in learning this stuff, and I'm gonna transfer it all to you now so that you can start making money with your lead capture pages as well. So let's get started here. Again, this is Fred, the Submarine Guy, and we're going to get started here on 10 or more tips. So first of all, what is a lead capture page? Actually, it's the first page in what I call your business machine. A lot of people talk about sales funnels and things like that, and that's a big element of the business machine, but business machine really includes much more, but it all starts with a lead capture page. So it's the first page in your business machine. And it actually, the purpose of it is it captures your prospect's email address in exchange for something you're going to give to him or her, which has great value in their mind, so that it's enough value that they're going to give up their email address, and you get the email address into your autoresponder system. And we'll talk more about that in a few minutes. Now, a lead capture page can come in many formats. I'll show you some examples here in a couple of slides, but the key components are it has a headline, which basically outlines your offer, and then there's a call to action, CTA, which says, hey, fill in your email address in the form here, and then they hit submit or send me the details and that kind of thing. Now, one thing you'll notice throughout this training is I go by the mantra, less is more. Okay. You don't want to have too much on your lead capture page, and I'll explain a little bit more about that in just a moment. So let's go on here. So why do we have a lead capture page? I mean, this seems like a lot of trouble to go to capture a person's email and put it into your autoresponder. But if you look, there's some statistics that have been out there for quite some time that are proven over and over again, especially in this day and age, that 80% of all sales are made between the 5th and the 12th contact. And some even say that in 2019 timeframe here, some say you probably need to contact people 20 or more times in order to get into that 80% sales category. Now, if you think about that, it's a phenomenal statistic that shows you the importance of making sure you contact your prospects enough times so that they get to know, like, and trust you. They get to understand what your initial offer was and why it's important to them, and that you're giving them a way to buy it from you. So it's the input for your lead funnel and your follow-up system, as I said, and entices them to surrender their email address. It's also your initial branding opportunity. I've got a couple of slides on branding up in the future here, which we'll talk about, but that's not the whole focus of your lead capture page. You can certainly start to brand yourself in the lead capture page with the lead capture page, but that's not the sole purpose of it. It's also designed, and this is really important, to match your prospect to an eventual sales product or service. And what I mean by that is if you're selling a weight loss product, for instance, then you want to match your prospect to that weight loss product. So you want a prospect that thinks they need to lose weight, that want to look trimmer for the summer to get into that bikini, whatever it is, but you want to match your prospect to the eventual sales product so that you get the right kind of people on your list for selling your product. So let's move on here. Here's a graphic of the entire sales product from left to right. You advertise and get some prospects to your lead capture page in this red circle here. And as you capture their email address, it goes and gives them away your lead magnet. We'll talk about that in a second. It puts them on your email list, and it kicks off your marketing funnel via your email list. And that might send them to a sales page. It might send them to a video. It might send them to a webinar, those kind of things, so that they can get more information about your product or service. The emails keep coming, the info keeps coming via different methods, and eventually you'll make some sales out the back end, which is represented by all these dollar signs. But the start, the start is right up here with the lead capture page, which is the very start of your sales process. Okay. Now the importance of the delivery page is one other thing I wanted to talk about. I'm just going to talk about it on this one slide here, but the delivery page where you give them your lead magnet or the promise of your lead capture page, it's also known as your thank you page. And you may give them a PDF document, a video, or a series of videos, audio, etc. And or maybe it's something on your blog, a blog post or something like that. And that's your lead magnet that you promised to give them. So your thank you page will deliver that to them. But if you think about it, this is your best opportunity to sell your prospect on something. Now, it will never, I guarantee you will never have more engagement than you do on the thank you page. Never, ever will it be any higher. So if you've got a free bonus you can give them, this is a great place to do it, to build up their respect for you as an expert in the industry. You can also throw in some branding, which is maybe your picture or your logo, that kind of thing, to start the branding operation. But you also want to make sure that whatever you're doing on your thank you page is consistent with the initial offer, and that's also known as congruency. In other words, if your lead capture page offered weight loss recommendations or something like that, then your sales page ought to be around the same topic, right? It ought to be around weight loss in that case. So it's got to be consistent, and that means it's got to be congruent from page to page that you have the same offer. But remember, on your sales page or your delivery page, that you'll never, ever have a higher engagement with your prospect than you do on the thank you page. So take advantage of it in some way, shape, or form, so that you get to sell more, to get some of your branding done, and also to give them some bonus material to build them up in their mind about your expertise in your area. Okay, so that's all I'm going to say about delivery page. I'll probably do another training on delivery pages because they're so important. There's so much you can do with them. And again, you'll never have engagement any higher than you do on your delivery page. So here's some examples of lead capture pages that I've done. These are just pictures of them. The top left one here, you can see I've got a 3-line headline. This dark red, dark blue, dark red is one of my favorites for coloring. I've got bullets on the left and then the form on the right. Okay, this form comes from your autoresponder. In my case, it's Aweber. You can change the font size, the font color. You can add the name to take the name off. You've always got to have the email in there. In this one, I also had the phone number. You can make this little part right here say anything you want. Right now it says send info, right? Here's another version of the same one. I used a little bit different font with a little different spacing. I put the bullets above the form here, and it's the same form at the bottom. It's always good to test between different versions of your lead capture page to see which one pulls in better, and I'll talk some more about that in a few minutes. Here's another one up here. Again, the red and blue headline format. And this one, I have a video that plays automatically over here. and we'll talk about how to embed videos and what videos should do for you. And again, the lead capture page over here on the lead capture form over here on the right from my AWeber autoresponder. This one has a little headline above it, says put your info in. Again, you want to be clear with your prospect what you want them to do. Put your info in below, you know, to get this free report or whatever I'm offering here. Send me to the video in this case. The last one here you probably are familiar with. You just filled out the form to get there. 10 ways to power up your lead capture page and maximize profits and opt-ins in one fell swoop. In this case, this is a small graphic that I made with the AWeber form right underneath it. Again, see how simple these pages are. There's no distraction stuff down here to say powered by AWeber or we'll never spam you or any of that kind of heba-haba. Folks don't need to see that. It's just a distraction. All you want them to do is focus on filling in your form and hitting the submit button. So let's look at a couple more here. Here's one of my older ones. It's got the red and blue headline, obviously. I did a little red, blue, red on this one. Got a little fancy on myself. Again, another video over here and the form on the right. Similar format here, down here, and similar format over here. And you might see, well, these kind of look the same, top 10 factors, that kind of thing. One of the things I do, and I've got a slide on this a little bit later, is test different combinations of your lead capture page to see which ones works better. In other words, which one gets more prospects into your form. Okay. So here's the 5 things I'm going to talk about tonight. The key factors, I think, for your lead capture pages. First of all, they've got to be unique. We'll talk about that in a moment. They've got to have focus around a specific action. Very simple branding. Video obviously rocks. You can get much higher response rate if you use a short video. I'll tell you some details about how to do that best. And then we'll talk about A/B testing at the back end. So factor number 1, be unique. I can't emphasize this enough. Never, ever use a form that somebody else gave you, a lead capture form. If you do that, you're going to be copied, or you're going to be just one of the crowd. You're not going to be unique, and your response rate is going to drop like a rock. You've got to be able to make your own lead capture pages. Never use a corporate funded or a corporate provided page. If your company, your MLM company, or your affiliate company gives you a lead capture page, don't do it. Don't use it. You've got to have your own to be unique. Never use a duplicated page. Always create your own. This is where your sales process starts. You want it to be unique to you so that you'll get the response that you're looking for. So make sure you make unique lead capture pages. I can't emphasize this enough. Do not use a copy of somebody else's page. Focus. This is number 2. The real key to this whole thing is grabbing your prospect's attention and getting the simple message to him to fill in your form so that you grab his email address. Again, it's got to be congruent, or the same topic, the same message as your video, as your headline, etc., so that you don't create confusion in the prospect's mind. You've got to have that simplicity and focus in there so that your prospect will know exactly what you're offering and what he has to do to get it. Have a lot means, I should have written a little more on this bullet here. Have a lot means have a lot of different lead capture pages. You never know what is going to entice your prospects the best. Sometimes the ugliest looking web pages or lead capture pages will pull the best. You don't know why, but they do. And not all the time. So you've got to do the testing, and we'll talk about that here in a couple of slides. Again, one specific, clear, concise call to action. fill in your email address below to get the video series. You know, tell them exactly what you want to do so that they'll know and what they're going to get from it. The best you can do is use one form line. In other words, just ask their email address. Now, I frequently throw in first name as well because I like to embed first names in my emails, but you need only the email address so that you can send an email to them, and that you'll get the biggest response if you only have them do one form line. In other words, just ask for the email address. Make your own submit button. A submit button is simply a graphic that in most cases in forms that are provided will just say submit. But you can have your submit say, send me the videos, or I'm excited, yes, I want to see it, or you can write anything on your submit button. It can be any color, any size, any shape, generally horizontal, rounded corners, kind of submit buttons are best. But again, you can put colored text on it, you can color the background, you can have all kind of color gradations on it. Make your submit buttons unique. And those can be done with very simple graphics programs like Canva. Eliminate distractions. Make sure that you take everything off of the page that is not focused on getting the call to action done. The focus for the whole page is to get your prospect to put his email address in, right? So you don't want any other kind of distractions like credits to your autoresponder company or different things like that. You may, however, once you get a good lead capture page which pulls really well, and you're going to use it for a long time, you may want to go ahead and add privacy, contact, terms and conditions kind of links down at the bottom, down in the bottom area, like down around here. There is some evidence that Google will give you more power, more SEO credit for having those on your page. In other words, it will give the credibility to the page as a permanent kind of fixture instead of just a temporary. Pardon me. So think about that. Once you get your testing done and you get your response rate up as high as you think it's going to go, think about adding privacy, contact, and terms and condition links down at the bottom just to give you a little more SEO power. So focus is your key factor number 2 for your lead capture pages. Focus on grabbing that email address. Okay, here's branding. Now, I threw this in here because you don't want to do a lot of branding. Again, you don't want too many distractions on your page. So keep it simple and sort of nondescript. Maybe something that says like Fred Rayleigh presents. That's probably not the best wording, but short and sweet. You could use icons. I use this nuclear energy thing and this nuclear explosion thing in a lot of my graphics. They're small enough, they're black and white, so they're kind of non-obtrusive, but the consistency of me using them over and over gives me some credibility in branding. Let's see, graphic shareable. What was I going to say there? Graphic shareable. I don't know. 2 to 3 color is good for consistency. And then you can also include your logo. Like I have this submarine guy logo. My wife is a graphic artist, and she made this logo for me. So I put this on some of my lead capture pages as well, just to get some branding. But again, keep your branding fairly simple. Don't make it overpower your lead capture page. It's sort of a byproduct. Certainly you can do more branding on the thank you page, where you can introduce yourself. You can have a video of yourself talking about your lead magnet that you're giving them, or your product or your service or whatever it is. But keep most of that stuff on the thank you page. Okay, for number 4, video. This is one I really fell in love with. My sign-up rates, my conversion rates doubled when I used a simple video on my lead capture page. And if you remember, it generally is to the left of the form, and it will autoplay. You want it to be about 30 to 45 seconds max. So there can't be a whole lot of video in there, right? Generally, it's you talking, maybe over a slide, or it could be your just a headshot of you talking, or something like that. But there's not a lot of time in there, so you need to reiterate the focus of the lead capture page, the offer of your lead magnet, and the call to action, which says, hey, put your name in the form, put your email address in the form. Don't go over hypey on people on the video. I've seen a lot of those things where people wave their arms and point to the graphics and point to this and that and the other, and I'm like, man, you look like you're gonna have a heart attack or something. Don't do. I don't think that does much for you. But you do want to show some excitement about your product or your service, but just don't get too hypey about it. One of the things you can do too, if you keep your videos up in YouTube, is you can put in open and close graphics on your videos. And I have a separate training on how to do that. But basically, what you do is you put a graphic in as like the opening slide. So when the video is not playing yet, you'll see the graphic. So it would be something like your headline, maybe a picture of your lead magnet, maybe a headshot of you, talking about it, whatever. But it's a static photo graphic that goes in the front of your video when it's not playing. Once the prospect clicks the start button, the video will start and that graphic will go away, and you'll see the first slide in your video. The same thing for the close graphic. If you've been on YouTube long enough, they give you the option to put a close graphic in there so that when your video stops, you'll see only the close graphic. But videos, people love videos. They like to watch short videos. Again, keep the message consistent with the other things that are on your lead capture page. Repeat the call to action and get people to put their email address in the form. Now, this is probably the biggest one and the hardest one for people to get their head around. They think, oh my gosh, A/B testing, what the heck? How do I do this? It's once you get the hang of this, you will never stop doing it. I guarantee it. This can literally double, triple, quadruple, or better your response rates by testing one version against another. And the first line here says, change one element of the lead capture page at a time. Maybe the headline, maybe a graphic, maybe the bullets, and see which converts best. And what do I mean by converts? Converts means somebody fills in the form and hits submit. Okay, that's a conversion on your lead capture page. They take your call to action and do it and put their name, their email address in the form and hit submit or send me the video or whatever your submit button says. Again, you can change the headline text, what it says. You can change the size, the font, the color. You can change, you can go from 2 lines to 3, from 3 lines to 2, from 2 lines to 1. There's all kind of combinations you can do. It's generally better to only change one element at a time. So if you change the headline between version A and version B, then don't change the graphic, the bullets, the form elements, and the page layout, right? Keep everything else the same, just change the headline in version B. And then what you do is you send equal number of traffic or impressions from the same source, or at least a similar source, and use a tracker to see which one converts the best. And again, I can have another training on how to use trackers. They're pretty easy. You basically, put the URL of your lead capture page into your tracker, and you put 2 in the same tracker and see which one gets the most conversions. Okay. And then what you do is, I'm getting so excited here. You keep the winner and discard the loser. In other words, the one that got the most conversions is the winner. So you keep that, and that becomes your A version for the next testing period, right? Let's say you sent 1,000 clicks or 1,000 impressions to each source, and you got twice as much response on the A version as you did on the B. So your A version becomes your new A version, and then you change either the headline again to something different, or the graphic, or again bullets, formats, different things. And see, again, do the testing again and see which one comes out better. I'll show you an example of how this works. And then you basically repeat back to step one. So here's 3 iterations, just the graphics of the lead capture pages that I used. This one got a 0.33% conversion, okay? Basically had a blue text, a red text, and then a yellow background on some more text, and then the form. You notice the form is the same. The yellow and blue bottom line is the same in all of these. Let me move these up. And I changed the green part on this one to this one and did some testing, and I got a 0.41% response on this one. So I thought, well, that's pretty good. So I took this one and I changed the first headline was the same, but instead of saying your 100K business, it said start building yours today. And I got a 0.65% response. Now, those numbers don't look very big, okay? And I was using safe lists, and that's why they're so low and that kind of thing. But look at the ratio from 0.33%, about 1/3 of 1%, to 0.65%, or 2/3 of 1%. I doubled my response rate. I doubled my conversion rate from this one to this one by doing these simple tests, by changing this to this and then this to this. So in other words, if I got 33 conversions on this one, I would get 65 on this one. So would you rather be advertising this one? Of course, but you don't know that until you do this A/B testing. And so this essentially is one web page. This is another web page. This is another one. You put them out there 2 at a time, see which one works better. Keep this one, change again something on it, the red part in this case, and run similar amounts of traffic to it. This one's running better. And now I'm running this one over and over and over because it's twice as good as that one. It's 1/3 better than that one, maybe 50% better. But that's the benefit of doing A/B testing. So I hope that explains the benefit of just being able to double your response rate by some simple testing. This took me about a day and a half to do this. Obviously, the graphics, easy to change. I make my graphics in Canva. It's a free, canva.com. It's a free resource you can use online to make graphics with. The web form comes from Aweber. You can make, these can be green, yellow, blue, red. It doesn't matter. The text can be changed. The size of the blocks can change. Here's an example of the submit button. See, I made mine say, send away, I'm excited, right? I'd like my prospect to be seeing himself saying that. So I put it there for him to click on to let me know he's saying that. All right, so that's it for A/B testing. So let's review. We looked at having a unique lead capture page, a focus for the lead capture page. In other words, you want to keep the focus of the lead capture page to get the prospect to fill in the email address. Simple branding by using either your logo or a simple one-liner or some branding items there. Video, if you can bring yourself to do video, put a video on your lead capture page. Again, keep it short, keep it focused, keep it on topic of what you want the lead capture page to do, and that is to capture the email address of the prospect. And then A/B testing, vitally important. I use track.me. I'll give you a link here in a few minutes to show you how to do that. It costs like $9 a month. They do. They keep track of all my clicks and conversions and that kind of stuff. Once you learn how to use that, you'll never stop. So what's next on lead capture pages? I know we spent 30 minutes here. I've gone through a lot of different stuff. You probably can't take notes fast enough, so I'm gonna put this up on a blog page, remote blog page for you, and along with some of the resources that I use. So if you want to copy that down, just take a screenshot here. It's track.me without the A, slant LCP 10, that's a 0 there, ways, lead capture 10 ways. And I'll have the blog page. Obviously don't have the video on there yet, but I've got the links over there right now. So we'll talk, I've got some other videos planned on how to create the lead capture page using your blog. That works great. Obviously how to do the A/B testing. And then the follow-up sequences is another big topic that people have been looking for. All right. So that's about it. I appreciate everybody showing up here. Thanks for all the comments and everything. If I did it right, the video should be recording here. I was joking with one of my subscribers. I said, if the video doesn't record, I may just shoot myself. And she wrote me back and said, oh, it's not that important. So anyway, I hope everybody has a great evening. I'll get this video recorded, or get this recording going, and get it up on the blog page. I'll send this out in an email as well to my list, so the whole list will have it, and you can see the video there. Have a great evening.